Today, we will explore the most wonderful places in Italy, a captivating country rich in history, art, and beauty. Italy, known for its stunning landscapes, iconic architecture, and delectable cuisine, is a treasure trove of unforgettable experiences. From ancient cities to picturesque countryside, Italy offers a perfect blend of culture and nature that leaves a lasting impression. First, let's dive into some interesting facts about Italy before we explore its incredible destinations. One fascinating fact is that Italy is home to the greatest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the world. From the historic centers of Florence and Rome to the archaeological sites of Pompeii, Italy's cultural influence and historical significance are unmatched. Another remarkable fact is Italy's deep connection to art. The Renaissance, one of the most important cultural movements in history, began in Italy. Many world-renowned artists, including Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael, created their masterpieces here, leaving a rich legacy of art and architecture for the world to admire. Italy is also famous for its coffee culture, particularly espresso. Italians are known for their love of coffee, and it's often enjoyed as part of their daily routine. However, coffee in Italy is more than just a drink. It's a way of life, and each region has its own way of brewing and enjoying it. From a quick espresso at a bar to a leisurely cappuccino in a piazza, coffee is an essential part of Italian culture. Are you ready to join me on this journey to discover the most amazing destinations in Italy? Let's start exploring the charming and historic sites this beautiful country has to offer. Milan is a famous city in northern Italy. It is the second largest city in Italy after Rome. Milan is well known for fashion, design, and culture. It is one of the most important fashion capitals in the world. Every year, Milan hosts Fashion Week, where many designers show their new collections. Visitors love to shop at the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, one of the oldest shopping malls in the world. The Galleria is a beautiful place with a glass roof and luxury stores. One of the most famous landmarks in Milan is the Duomo di Milano, a stunning Gothic cathedral. It took more than 600 years to finish building this amazing structure. The cathedral is famous for its many statues and spires. On top of the tallest spire, there is a golden statue of the Virgin Mary called the Madonnina. No building in Milan can be taller than the Madonnina. If a new building is taller, a small version of the statue must be placed on it. This is a sign of respect for the city's traditions. Milan is also home to Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting, The Last Supper. This masterpiece is located in the convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie. During World War II, the convent was almost destroyed by bombs, but The Last Supper survived. A special wall protected the painting, saving it from damage. Today, people from all over the world come to Milan to see this iconic work of art. Milan is a city full of history, culture, and surprises. From its incredible cathedral to its rich art and opera, Milan has something for everyone. The stories of its famous landmarks make it a unique and interesting destination. Venice is a special city in Italy. It is built on more than 100 small islands in a lagoon. There are no cars in Venice. People use boats or walk to get around. The city has many canals instead of streets. The biggest canal is called the Grand Canal. Venice is famous for its beautiful old buildings and bridges. Venice has a long and interesting history. It was once a powerful republic and an important center for trade. Many famous artists lived in Venice. The city is known for its art and culture. Every year, there is a big festival called Carnival. People wear colorful masks and costumes during this festival. There are many surprising facts about Venice. The city is sinking slowly into the water. This is because of climate change and the weight of the buildings. Venice is built on wooden poles stuck into the bottom of the lagoon. There are millions of these poles under the city. Venice has some strange and interesting stories. There is a famous bridge called the Bridge of Sighs. It connects a prison to a court. Prisoners would sigh when they crossed this bridge. A famous man named Casanova once escaped from a Venice prison. The escape was very exciting. In Venice, even the mailmen use boats to deliver letters. This is the only place in the world with a water postal service. All the gondolas in Venice must be black. This is a law from long ago. Rich families used to compete with colorful boats, so the city made a rule about the color. Venice faces some problems today. The city often floods when the sea level is high. This is called acqua alta. Venice is working to protect itself from flooding. Many tourists visit Venice every year. Sometimes there are too many visitors for the small city. Venice is trying to find a balance between tourism and protecting its history. Tuscany is a beautiful region in central Italy. It is famous for its rolling hills, vineyards, and medieval towns. The capital city of Tuscany is Florence, known for its art and architecture. Many people visit Tuscany to see famous artworks like Michelangelo's, David and Botticelli's The Birth of Venus. Tuscany is also famous for its wine, especially Chianti. The region's food is simple but delicious, with dishes like Florentine steak and soups made from vegetables. Many people love to explore the small towns in Tuscany, such as Siena, Pisa, and Lucca. These towns are full of history and charm. One of the most famous landmarks in Tuscany is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This tower started leaning during its construction in the 12th century because the ground was soft. Even though it leaned, the builders continued to work on it, and now it's one of the most famous towers in the world. People come from all over to see the Leaning Tower and take photos pretending to hold it up. In the past, engineers worried that it might fall, but today, thanks to modern technology, the tower is stable and safe. In conclusion, Tuscany is a region full of art, history, and natural beauty. From the Leaning Tower of Pisa to the vineyards of Chianti, there is something for everyone to enjoy. The stories of famous people like Leonardo da Vinci, the exciting palio race in Siena, and the peaceful charm of Montemerano all make Tuscany a special place to visit. Each town and village has its own unique story, making Tuscany a magical destination for travelers. The Dolomites is a beautiful mountain range in northern Italy. It has tall rocks and green valleys. The mountains look pink at sunset. This is called enrossadira. Many people visit the Dolomites to see this special view. The Dolomites is famous for outdoor activities. People go hiking, skiing, and mountain biking here. In winter, it's a popular place for skiing in Europe. UNESCO made the Dolomites a World Heritage Site in 2009 because it's so special. There are interesting stories about the Dolomites. One story talks about stone dwarfs who make the mountains pink at sunset. Another special thing is via ferrata. These are climbing paths with cables and ladders. Soldiers made them during World War I to move in the mountains. The Dolomites has a mix of Italian and Austrian culture. You can find old villages, castles, and tasty food here. Some people still speak an old language called Ladino. It comes from Latin, the language of ancient Rome. Many movies were made in the Dolomites because it looks so nice. James Bond and other action movies used these mountains as a background. The Dolomites was also important in World War I. Soldiers built tunnels and forts inside the mountains. Now, people can visit these places to learn about history. The Dolomites has some surprising facts. It used to be coral reefs under the sea many years ago. Now, it's high mountains. The name Dolomites comes from a French scientist who studied the rocks here. A famous mountain climber named Reinhold Messner grew up in the Dolomites. He was the first person to climb all the tallest mountains in the world without extra oxygen. In spring and summer, the Dolomites has many colorful flowers. This makes the mountains look even more beautiful. People also like the food here. They make special ham called speck and bread dumplings called canedoli. These foods are part of the Dolomites culture. Piazza San Marco, also known as St. Mark's Square. Mark's Square is the most famous square in Venice, Italy. It is a large open space surrounded by beautiful buildings and is the heart of the city. Piazza San Marco was built in the 9th century and has been a central place for social, political, and religious activities for many centuries. It is famous for its grand architecture, including St. Mark's Basilica, the Campanile, and the Doge's Palace. These landmarks make the square one of the most visited places in Venice. One of the main attractions in Piazza San Marco is St. Mark's Basilica. This stunning church is known for its golden mosaics and magnificent domes. It was built to house the remains of St. Mark, the patron saint of Venice. The basilica's design combines Byzantine, Gothic, and Renaissance styles, making it a unique architectural masterpiece. The 4 golden horse statues on the facade, known as the quadriga, are famous symbols of the basilica. These statues were brought from Constantinople in the 13th century as war trophies. Another highlight of Piazza San Marco is the Campanile, the bell tower of St. Mark's Basilica. It stands 99 meters tall, and visitors can climb to the top for breathtaking views of Venice. However, the tower once collapsed in 1902 due to structural issues. Fortunately, nobody was seriously hurt. The tower was rebuilt exactly as it was and reopened in 1912. This event remains one of the most memorable moments in the square's history. With its rich history, stunning architecture, and many fascinating stories, Piazza San Marco is a place full of mystery and wonder. From the golden horses of the basilica to the flooded square during Acqua Alta, there are countless secrets waiting to be discovered in this iconic Venetian landmark. Vatican City is a very small country inside Rome, Italy. It is the smallest country in the world. The Pope, who is the leader of the Catholic Church, lives here. Vatican City is famous for its beautiful buildings and art. The most famous place in Vatican City is St. Peter's Basilica. It is a very big and beautiful church. Many people come to see it every year. There is also a big square in front of the church called St. Peter's Square. It is where the Pope speaks to people. Vatican City has many interesting facts. It has its own post office, which many people say works better than the Italian one. It also has its own money and bank. The bank even has ATMs that use Latin. This is very unusual. There are many secrets in Vatican City. It has a secret library with very old books and letters. Some of these letters are from famous people like Michelangelo. The Vatican also has its own police. They are called the Swiss Guard and wear colorful uniforms. One surprising fact about Vatican City is that it has a high crime rate. This is because there are many tourists and few people live there. Most of the crimes are small, like stealing from tourists. But don't worry, it is still a safe place to visit. Inside Vatican City, there is a famous chapel called the Sistine Chapel. It has beautiful paintings on the ceiling made by Michelangelo. It took him 4 years to paint it, and he had to work in a very uncomfortable position. Many people come to see these paintings. Vatican City became a country in 1929. This makes it the youngest country in Europe. Even though it is a country, it does not have an airport. It only has a small place for helicopters to land. The Pope sometimes uses this when he travels. Many people visit Vatican City every year. They come to see the art, the buildings, and sometimes to see the Pope. It is a very special place with a lot of history and beautiful things to see. If you visit Rome, you should try to see Vatican City too. Rome is a famous city in Italy. It is very old and has a lot of history. Rome is known for many things like old buildings, art, and good food. The Colosseum is a big, round building in Rome. Long ago, people watched fights here. It's very old, but still standing. Many tourists visit it every year. Rome has many fountains. The most famous one is the Trevi Fountain. People throw coins in it for good luck. Every day, about 3,000 euros are thrown into this fountain. The money goes to help poor people. In Rome, there is a small country called Vatican City. It's the smallest country in the world. The Pope lives here. Many people visit to see the big church called St. Peter's Basilica. Rome has many interesting stories. There is a stone face called the Mouth of Truth. People say if you put your hand in its mouth and tell a lie, it will bite your hand. Many visitors try this, but it's just a fun story. The city has many cats. There are about 300,000 cats in Rome. The law protects these cats. They are part of the city's history. Rome has free water for everyone. There are over 2,500 small fountains in the streets. People can drink from these fountains. They are called nasoni, which means big noses because of how they look. Volterra is an old city in Italy. It is in a place called Tuscany. The city is very old. It is more than 3,000 years old. Long ago, people called Etruscans lived here. The city has many old buildings. You can see walls from the Etruscan time. These walls are still strong. Volterra is famous for alabaster. Alabaster is a soft white stone. People in Volterra make beautiful things from alabaster. They have done this for a very long time. You can buy many nice alabaster gifts in the city. The city has many interesting places to see. There is a big square called Piazza dei Priori. It has old buildings around it. There is also a Roman theatre. It is very old, but still looks good. Volterra has many museums too. In these museums, you can see old things from the Etruscan time. Volterra has some fun stories. Some people think vampires live here. This is because of a book called Twilight. But it's just a story. The city has the smallest window in the world. It is very, very small. There is also a big tower with a stone pig on top. Students try to touch the pig's bottom for good luck. The city has some strange facts too. There is no McDonald's in Volterra. This is not common in Italy. Long ago, Volterra was important for salt. People took salt from here to other places. There are big cliffs around the city. People say part of the old city fell into these cliffs. Volterra is a special place. It has a long history. It has many old buildings. It has fun stories and strange facts. Many people visit Volterra every year. They come to see the old city and learn about its history. They also come to buy alabaster gifts. Volterra is a good place to visit if you like old cities and interesting stories. The Castel Vecchio Bridge is a famous bridge in Verona, Italy. It is also called Ponte Scaligero. The bridge was built a long time ago in the 14th century. It was finished in 1356 when Can Grande II della Scala was the ruler. The bridge is very old and has seen many things happen in history. This bridge is special because of how it looks. It is made of brick and stone. It has 3 big arches. The bridge is about 120 meters long. It is strong and beautiful. Many people come to see it every year. The bridge shows how good Italian builders were in the past. At first, the Castel Vecchio Bridge was not just for walking. It was part of a big castle called Castel Vecchio. The bridge helped protect the castle from enemies. It was like a strong wall over the water. This shows that bridges can be more than just ways to cross rivers. The bridge has been through many hard times. In World War II, it was partly destroyed, but the people of Verona didn't give up. They fixed the bridge and made it strong again. Now, it stands proud over the Adige River. This story shows how important the bridge is to the city. There are some interesting facts about the bridge. Some people say there are secret tunnels under it. These tunnels might have been used to escape from the castle. Also, at night, the bridge looks very pretty with lights. It's a good place for taking photos. These little details make the bridge more exciting for visitors. Today, the Castel Vecchio Bridge is very important for Verona. Many tourists come to see it. They walk on the bridge and look at the beautiful view of the city and the river. The bridge connects the past and the present of Verona. It reminds people of the city's long and interesting history. Limone sul Garda is a small town in Italy. It sits by Lake Garda, a big blue lake. The town has about 1,000 people living there. It is very pretty, with tall cliffs and clear water. Limone is famous for its lemon gardens. These gardens are very old. They have tall stone pillars to protect the lemon trees from cold winds. The name limone means lemon in Italian, but some people think the name comes from an old word for elm tree. This town has a special secret. Many people here live for a very long time. Scientists found out that some people in Limoni have a special gene. This gene helps them stay healthy and live longer. It's like a magic power. For a long time, Limone was hard to reach. People could only get there by boat or dangerous paths. In 1932, they built a road to the town. Before that, Limoni was like a hidden place. This helped keep its special culture. Limoni used to be a fishing village. People caught fish from Lake Garda to eat and sell. Now, tourism is more important, but fishing is still part of the town's history. Visitors can try fresh fish from the lake in local restaurants. The town is so beautiful that movie makers like it. Parts of a James Bond movie were filmed here. The movie is called Quantum of Solace. Limoni's pretty views make it look good in films. Limoni also makes very good olive oil. It's light and tasty. People say it's some of the best in Italy. Visitors can try this special oil when they come to the town. Today, many people visit Limone sul Garda. They come to see the beautiful views, learn about the town's history, and enjoy the peaceful feeling. It's a place where old stories and nature come together in a special way. Lake Como is a beautiful place in Italy. It is a big lake with clear blue water. The lake is very deep and has mountains all around it. People love to visit Lake Como because it is so pretty. Lake Como is shaped like a big letter Y. It has three parts: Como, Lecco, and Colico. The lake is very old and has been here for a long time. Many famous people from history lived near Lake Como. They wrote about how nice it was. Many movies were made at Lake Como. You can see it in James Bond movies and Star Wars. There are big, fancy houses near the lake. Some movie stars like George Clooney have houses here. Visitors can take boat rides on the lake to see these nice houses. Lake Como is famous for its silk. People have been making silk here for a very long time. The silk from Lake Como is some of the best in the world. Visitors can buy nice silk things when they come here. The weather at Lake Como is special. It is warm, even though it is near big mountains. This means that plants that usually grow in warm places can grow here too. It's fun to see these plants in a place with mountains. There are many old boats on Lake Como. Some of these boats are more than 100 years old. Visitors can ride on these old boats and feel like they are back in the past. It's a fun way to see the lake. Lake Como has many interesting stories. One story is about its name. The name Como comes from an old word that means together. This is because the lake brings the land and water together. Another fun fact is that Lake Como is one of the deepest lakes in Europe. Lake Como is a great place to visit. You can see beautiful views, learn about history, and do fun things like boat rides. Many people come here every year to enjoy the lake and the towns around it. It's a special place that makes people happy when they visit. San Giorgio Maggiore is a small island in Venice, Italy. It is near the famous St. Mark's Square. The island is very beautiful and has many interesting things to see. The most famous thing on the island is the San Giorgio Maggiore Church. This church is very old and very pretty. A famous architect named Andrea Palladio designed it a long time ago. The church is white and has a big dome. Many people come to see it every day. One cool thing about the island is the bell tower. You can go up to the top of the tower. From there you can see all of Venice. It's a great place to take photos. The view is amazing, especially at sunset. The island also has an old monastery. Now, it's a place for art and culture. There are art shows and music events here. Many artists and writers come to work on the island. It's a quiet place to think and create. There's a special garden on the island too. It's called a maze garden. A maze is like a puzzle made of plants. You can walk through it and try to find your way out. It's fun for both kids and adults. San Giorgio Maggiore has some secrets too. Some people say there are hidden tunnels under the island. These tunnels might go to other parts of Venice. No one knows for sure if this is true. It's a mystery that makes the island more exciting. The island has been in many movies and books. It's a popular place for artists to paint. The famous painter Monet painted pictures of the island. His paintings show how beautiful it is at different times of day. Many important people have visited San Giorgio Maggiore. Kings, queens, and even the Pope have been here. They all came to see the beautiful church and enjoy the peaceful island. Today, you can take a boat to visit San Giorgio Maggiore. It's easy to get there from the main part of Venice. Many tourists come to see the church, climb the tower, and enjoy the quiet beauty of the island. It's a special place that shows the history and art of Venice. Isola Bella is a small island in Lake Maggiore, Italy. It is famous for its beautiful palace and gardens. The island's name means beautiful island in Italian. It was named after Isabella de Adda, the wife of Carlo III Borromeo. The Borromeo family changed Isola Bella from a simple fishing village to a grand palace. They worked on it for over 400 years. The palace has many rooms with nice decorations. The gardens are very special, with many levels and pretty flowers. Isola Bella has some interesting stories. Napoleon Bonaparte and his wife Josephine visited the island in 1797. During World War II, the palace was not damaged. After the war, important people from England, Italy, and Germany met here to talk about peace. The palace has some secrets. There is a room with bones that people thought were from a unicorn, but they are really from a narwhal, a kind of whale. The palace also has rooms that look like caves, decorated with stones and seashells. This is very rare in Italy. The gardens of Isola Bella are special. They grow plants from warm places, even though the weather is not always good for them. The island is also home to some rare white herons. These birds are not common in Italy. Florence is a beautiful city in Italy. It is famous for art and history. Many people visit Florence every year. Florence has many old buildings and museums. The most famous building is the big church called Duomo. It has a big red dome on top. You can see it from many places in the city. Next to the church is a tall tower. People can climb the tower to see the city. The city has a famous bridge called Ponte Vecchio. It is very old and has small shops on it. People can buy jewelry there. The bridge goes over the Arno River. It is a nice place to walk and take pictures. Florence is known for art. There are many famous statues and paintings here. The most famous statue is David by Michelangelo. It is very big and shows a young man. You can see it in a museum called the Accademia. There is also a big museum called the Uffizi. It has many old paintings. Some interesting things happen in Florence. Sometimes people feel dizzy when they see so much beauty. This is called Stendhal syndrome. It is named after a writer who felt this way in Florence. Another fun fact is that the Mona Lisa painting might show a bridge from Florence in the background. Florence has good food too. People like to eat a big steak called bistecca alla Fiorentina. The city is also famous for ice cream. Many people think Florence has the best ice cream in Italy. Florence is important for fashion. Big fashion names like Gucci started here. There are many shops where you can buy nice clothes and shoes. Every year, there are big fashion shows in the city. In the past, Florence had a big flood. It damaged many old books and paintings. People from all over the world came to help save the art. They were called mud angels because they worked in the mud to save things. Florence is a city full of surprises. It has old things and new things. People who visit Florence often want to come back again. There is always something new to see and learn in this beautiful Italian city. The Colosseum is a very famous landmark in Rome, Italy. It is an ancient Roman amphitheater built between 70 to 80 AD by Emperor Vespasian and completed by his son, Titus. The Colosseum could hold around 50,000 to 80,000 people. It was used for gladiator fights, animal hunts, and large public events. Today, it is one of the most visited tourist sites in the world. The Colosseum is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. One of the most interesting facts about the Colosseum is that it was used for mock sea battles. The Romans could flood the arena with water to recreate naval fights. These events were called naumachiae. Ships would battle in the Colosseum, and this spectacle was a big part of Roman entertainment. This shows how creative and skilled the Romans were in designing and using the Colosseum. Another surprising fact is that the Colosseum was built in only 8 to 10 years. This was very fast for such a huge structure. The Romans used advanced construction techniques, and they had many workers, including prisoners from wars. The Colosseum's quick construction is a testament to Roman engineering and organization. Even though the Colosseum is known for bloody gladiator fights, not every battle ended in death. Gladiators were often valuable, and they did not always die after a fight. Sometimes, if a gladiator fought well, he could be spared by the crowd or the emperor. This is different from what people usually think about gladiator battles. The Colosseum is more than just a monument. It is a symbol of the strength and culture of the Roman Empire. Even though it has been damaged over time, it still stands today as one of the world's greatest wonders. Visitors from around the world come to admire its beauty, learn its history, and imagine the grand events that once took place there. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of the most famous landmarks in the world. It is located in the city of Pisa, Italy. The tower was built as part of a larger complex called the Piazza dei Miracoli, or Square of Miracles. This complex includes a cathedral, a baptistery, and a cemetery. Construction of the tower began in 1173, and it was originally designed to be a bell tower for the cathedral. However, the tower is best known for its unusual tilt. The soft ground beneath the tower caused it to lean to one side. The Leaning Tower of Pisa stands about 56 meters tall and has 8 floors. It is made of white and grey marble and has 294 steps leading to the top. Visitors can climb these stairs and enjoy a beautiful view of the city. The tower's lean started during its construction when the builders reached the 3rd floor. They tried to fix the problem by building the upper floors at a slight angle to compensate for the tilt, but it continued to lean more over time. Today, the tower leans at about 4 degrees after several restoration efforts to keep it from falling. In conclusion, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is not just a leaning structure. It is a symbol of historical engineering, scientific experiments, and the power of preservation. Its stories, from Galileo's experiment to its survival during the war, make it more than just a tower. It continues to amaze people with its unexpected tilt and fascinating history, drawing visitors from all over the world. The Leaning Tower of Pisa remains an iconic landmark, celebrated for its beauty, history, and unique position in the world. The Alps are a famous mountain range in Europe. They cover 8 countries, including France, Switzerland, Italy, and Austria. The Alps are known for their tall peaks, beautiful valleys, and green meadows. One of the most famous peaks is Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in the Alps. It stands at 4,808 meters tall. Many people come to the Alps to ski, snowboard, and hike. The Alps are also home to many plants and animals like the alpine ibex and golden eagle. The natural beauty and outdoor activities make the Alps a popular destination. There are many interesting stories about the Alps. One of the most famous is the story of Hannibal. Hannibal was a general from Carthage, and he wanted to surprise the Romans during a war. In 218 BCE, he crossed the Alps with his army and 37 elephants. This was a very difficult journey because of the snow and steep mountains. Even today, people talk about how amazing it was to take elephants over the Alps. The exact route Hannibal took is still a mystery. Another fascinating story from the Alps is about the Matterhorn, one of the most iconic peaks. In 1865, Edward Whymper, a British climber, was the first to reach the summit of the Matterhorn. However, the climb ended in tragedy when 4 of his fellow climbers fell during the descent. This sad story is part of the reason why the Matterhorn is so famous. The mountain is known for being both beautiful and dangerous. With its tall mountains, exciting stories, and natural beauty, the Alps are one of the most interesting and beloved places in the world. People visit for skiing, hiking, and adventure, but they also come to experience the history and mysteries of the Alps. The mountains have been the site of incredible journeys, tragic climbs, and surprising discoveries. The Alps will always be a place of wonder and adventure. Piani di Bobbio is a beautiful place in Italy. It is in the north, in a region called Lombardy. This place is high up in the mountains. It is about 1,700 meters above the sea. Many people come here to have fun in the snow. In winter, Piani di Bobbio is very popular. People love to ski here. There are many ski slopes. Some are easy and some are hard. Everyone can find a slope they like. The views from the top of the mountains are amazing. You can see other big mountains all around. But Piani di Bobbio is not just for winter. In summer, people come here too. They like to walk in the mountains. Some people ride bikes on special paths. The air is fresh, and the scenery is very pretty. You can see many kinds of plants and animals here. Piani di Bobbio has an interesting history. It started as a small place for local people in the 1930s. Now it is a big and modern ski resort. It was one of the first places in Italy to make snow when there was not enough real snow. This was a big surprise for many people. There are some fun facts about Piani di Bobbio. The name Piani means plateau in Italian. This tells us about the flat areas on the mountain. Another cool thing is that on clear days, you can see Lake Como and even Milan City from the highest point. This is very exciting for visitors. Piani di Bobbio is also trying to be good for the environment. They are using new ways to save energy and protect nature. This is important because many animals and plants live in the mountains. The resort wants to keep the mountains beautiful for a long time. Piani di Bobbio is a special place in Italy. It has snow, mountains, and lots of fun things to do. Whether you like skiing, walking, or just looking at beautiful views, you can find something you like here. It's a place where nature and fun come together. Val Gardena is a beautiful valley in the Dolomites Mountains in North Italy. It is famous for winter sports, especially skiing. The valley has three main towns: Ortisei, Santa Cristina, and Selva. Many people visit Val Gardena every year to enjoy the snow and mountains. In Val Gardena, people speak a special language called Ladin. It is very old, and not many people in the world speak it. You can see signs in three languages here: Italian, German, and Ladin. This makes Val Gardena a unique place with its own culture. The valley is known for wood carving. People started making things from wood in the 17th century. At first, farmers did it in winter to make extra money. Now, it is an important part of Val Gardena's culture and economy. You can see many beautiful wood carvings in the towns. Val Gardena has many interesting stories. One legend says the pink color of the Dolomites at sunset is because of a king's curse. The king turned giants into stone, and that's why the mountains look pink. This story adds magic to the beautiful views in Val Gardena. The Saslong ski run in Val Gardena is very famous. It is one of the hardest ski runs in the World Cup. Many top skiers come here to race. The run is named after a nearby mountain called Sassolungo. Watching a race on Saslong is very exciting. In autumn, there is a special festival in Val Gardena called Turgillen. People drink new wine and eat local food. This is a fun time to visit and learn about the local traditions. Tourists and locals enjoy this festival together. Today, Val Gardena is a popular place for tourists all year round. In winter, people come for skiing and snow sports. In summer, they come for hiking, mountain biking, and enjoying nature. The Dolomites Mountains around Val Gardena are so special that UNESCO made them a World Heritage Site. Lake Garda is a big lake in Italy. It's the biggest lake in the country. The lake is in the north of Italy. It's between three regions: Lombardy, Veneto, and Trentino Alto Adige. Lake Garda is very beautiful. Many people visit it every year. The lake is very old. Long ago, Romans called it Benicus. This name means many bays. Now it's called Lake Garda. The name Garda comes from a nearby town. In Old Germanic, Garda means place to guard. Lake Garda is famous for its nice weather. It's good for growing olives and lemons. There's a small town called Limone sul Garda. It's known for its lemon gardens. People in this town live for a very long time. Scientists think it's because of something special in their blood. The lake has many fun things to do. People like to sail, swim, and dive in the water. Near the lake, there's a big fun park called Gardaland. It's the biggest fun park in Italy. Many people go there every year. Lake Garda has some surprising facts. There's a small island in the lake called Isola del Garda. It has a pretty house on it. Saint Francis of Assisi once lived there. The lake is also home to some special fish. These fish only live in Lake Garda and nowhere else in the world. The lake area has lots of history. In Samione, you can see old Roman ruins. People think a famous Roman poet lived there. During World War II, an important Italian leader set up a government in a town by the lake. Lake Garda is so pretty. that it's been in movies. Parts of a James Bond movie were filmed there. The lake is also famous for a special wind called aura. This wind is great for sailing. It comes in the afternoon and goes from south to north. Many people think Lake Garda is magical. It has beautiful views, nice weather, and lots of history. Whether you like nature, history, or just relaxing, Lake Garda has something for everyone. It's a special place that makes people want to come back again and again. Isola dei Conigli is a small island in Italy. It is near Sicily. People call it Rabbit Island in English. This island is very famous for its beautiful beach. The beach has white sand and clear blue water. Many people say it is one of the best beaches in the world. The island has a funny name. It means Rabbit Island, but there are not many rabbits there now. Some people think the name comes from an old word that means connection. Long ago, the island was connected to a bigger island called Lampedusa. Isola dei Conigli is special for animals. It is a home for sea turtles. Every year, about 100 big turtles come to the beach. They lay their eggs in the sand. The island also has a special kind of lizard. Trevi Fountain is a famous place in Rome, Italy. It is a big and beautiful fountain in the city center. Many people visit it every day. The fountain is very old and has a lot of history. It was built in the 18th century and finished in 1762. The fountain is 26 meters high and 49 meters wide. It is one of the biggest fountains in Rome. The fountain shows Neptune, the god of the sea, and other mythical figures. It is made in a style called Baroque. This style has many details and is very fancy. The architect who designed it was Nicola Salvi. He worked hard to make the fountain look amazing. The water in the fountain comes from an old source called Aqua Virgo. This water source is very old, from 19 BC. There is a famous tradition at Trevi Fountain. People throw coins into the water. They do this for good luck and to make sure they will come back to Rome. Every day, about 3,000 euros are thrown into the fountain. This money goes to help poor people. When you throw a coin, you should stand with your back to the fountain. Then, you throw the coin over your left shoulder with your right hand. Trevi Fountain is in many famous movies. One of the most famous scenes is in the movie La Dolce Vita. In this scene, a woman swims in the fountain. This made the fountain even more famous around the world. The fountain is also in other movies and books. It is a very important part of Rome's culture. Trevi Fountain needs a lot of care. In 2015, it was fixed up. This took 17 months and cost 2.2 million euros. Now the fountain looks very beautiful. Every night, the fountain is lit up. This makes it look magical. Many people come to see it at night. It is a very special place in Rome. The Rialto Bridge is a famous place in Venice, Italy. It goes over the Grand Canal. This bridge is very old and important. It was built a long time ago, from 1588 to 1591. The bridge is made of white stone and has many small shops on it. It is 48 meters long and 7.5 meters high. Many people come to see this bridge every year. The bridge has a fun story about how it was made. Many famous architects wanted to build it. Even Michelangelo tried, but a man named Antonio da Ponte won. When the bridge was new, some people thought it would fall down. But it didn't. It has been standing for over 400 years now. This shows how strong and well-made it is. Every year, there is a special event at the Rialto Bridge. It is called the Wedding with the Sea. The leader of Venice throws a gold ring into the water from the bridge. This is a very old tradition. It shows how important the sea is to Venice. Many people come to watch this event. The Rialto Bridge is not just for walking. It used to be a place where people did business. Banks and shops were all around it. People traded money here. The famous Venice coin, called the ducat, was used here. Today, there is still a big market near the bridge. It is one of the oldest markets in Venice. Many artists love the Rialto Bridge. They paint it and write about it. It is in many famous pictures. Shakespeare even wrote about it in his play, The Merchant of Venice. The bridge is beautiful at sunset. From the top, you can see all of the Grand Canal. This view makes it very popular with tourists. In 2015, the Rialto Bridge was fixed up. It cost a lot of money. A fashion company called Diesel helped pay for it. This shows how important the bridge is to Venice. People want to keep it looking nice for many more years. The Rialto Bridge is not just a bridge. It is a symbol of Venice and its history. The Grand Canal is a very long waterway in China. It is the oldest and longest canal in the world. The canal is 1,776 kilometers long. It goes from Beijing in the north to Hangzhou in the south. The Grand Canal is very old. People started building it over 2,400 years ago. The Grand Canal was very important for China. It helped move food from the south to the north. It also helped trade and made China stronger. The canal is still used today for boats and tourism. In 2014, it became a World Heritage Site. This means it is very special and important for the world. There are many interesting stories about the Grand Canal. One story says that 5 to 6 million people helped build it. This may not be true, but it shows how big the project was. The canal uses clever ways to control water. This lets boats go up and down hills. It was very smart for that time. Famous Chinese poets wrote about the Grand Canal. They made beautiful poems about it. There is an old bridge on the canal called Gongchen Bridge. It was built over 1,000 years ago. The canal was used to carry special rice for the emperor. It was called imperial rice. Building the Grand Canal was very hard. People had to dig through mountains and cross big rivers. The canal also helped stop floods in East China. People have found old boats and things in the canal. These help us learn about old Chinese trade. Today, the Chinese government is making the Grand Canal better. They want more people to visit it. The canal is still important for moving things in China. It shows how smart and hard-working Chinese people were long ago. The Grand Canal is a very special place in China. St. Mark's Square is a famous place in Venice, Italy. It is in the center of the city. The square is very old and has many beautiful buildings around it. People call it the living room of Europe because it is so pretty. The square has a big church called St. Mark's Basilica. It is very beautiful, with gold and art inside. Next to the church is a tall tower called the Campanile. You can go up the tower to see all of Venice. There is also a big palace called the Doge's Palace. It was where the leaders of Venice lived long ago. There are many interesting stories about St. Mark's Square. One story says that two men brought the body of St. Mark to Venice a long time ago. They hid it in a basket of pork to trick the guards. Now, St. Mark is very important to Venice. The square has two big stone columns. On top of one column is a statue of a lion with wings. This lion is a symbol of Venice. Between the columns, bad people were punished long ago. It was a scary place then. There is a very old cafe in the square called Café Florian. It opened in 1720 and is the oldest cafe in Italy. Many famous people like writers and artists came here to drink coffee. The square has a special clock tower. This clock does not just show the time, it also shows the moon and stars. It is very old and very clever. St. Mark's Square often has water on it when the sea is high. This is called aqua alta. The city is trying to stop this problem with big walls in the sea. The square is famous for its many pigeons. Visitors like to feed them and take pictures. But now, it is not allowed to feed the pigeons anymore. This is to keep the square clean and protect the old buildings. Napoleon, a famous French leader, once called St. Mark's Square the most beautiful living room in Europe. He liked it very much when he came to Venice. Today, many people visit St. Mark's Square every year. They come to see the beautiful buildings, learn about history, and enjoy the special feeling of this famous place in Venice. Catania is a city on the east coast of Sicily, Italy. It sits at the foot of Mount Etna, one of the world's most active volcanoes. This city is very old, and its history goes back to ancient times. Many different cultures, like the Greeks, Romans, Arabs, and Normans, have influenced Catania over the centuries. One of the most interesting things about Catania is its Baroque architecture, which you can see all around the historic center. One of the most famous places in Catania is Piazza del Duomo. In this square, you will find the Fontana dell'Elefante, a fountain with a statue of an elephant, which is the symbol of the city. The statue is made of lava stone from Mount Etna. The Duomo of Catania, or the Catania Cathedral, is also in this square. It is dedicated to Saint Agatha, the patron saint of the city. Every year, a big festival is held to honor her, with processions and celebrations all around the city. Catania is also famous for its street market, La Pesceria. This market is full of fresh seafood, fruits, and vegetables, and it has a very lively atmosphere. Many people visit this market to see how locals shop and to enjoy the fresh food. It is a great place to experience the culture of Catania. Mount Etna plays a big role in the life of Catania. The volcano has erupted many times in history, sometimes causing damage to the city. But it also helps the local farmers because the volcanic soil is very fertile. This means that the region around Catania is great for growing crops like grapes and lemons. Catania has a rich and exciting history mixed with mystery and beauty. Whether you visit to explore Mount Etna, enjoy the food, or learn about its past, there is always something new and interesting to discover.